Let me ask you something, and I want you to pause and really think about it. When was the last time you let your child fail? Not in a way that left them abandoned or broken, but in a way that gave them the gift of rising. Because here's the truth, resilience doesn't come from comfort, it comes from challenge. And today, we're raising kids in a world that seems almost allergic to adversity, a world where the slightest discomfort is labeled as trauma, and failure is something to be avoided at all costs. But that's not how real strength is built. That's not how character is forged. That's not how we prepare our children to face the world when we're not around. We are living in what many experts call a fragile world. Instant gratification is the norm. Social media curates perfection. Filters remove flaws, and comparison starts younger and cuts deeper. Kids are absorbing the message that if something is difficult, they should quit. If something hurts, someone else must be to blame. If they don't succeed immediately, then they must not be good enough. And here's the kicker. Parents and teachers, out of love, protection, and sometimes guilt, are enabling this mindset without realizing it. We step in too quickly. We soften every fall. We solve every conflict. And slowly, without meaning to, we rob children of the most powerful thing we could give them, the ability to struggle, adopt, and grow stronger. Resilience isn't about being tough all the time. It's not about suppressing emotions or ignoring pain. It's about learning to navigate through them, to sit with discomfort, process it, and keep moving forward. And if we want to raise resilient kids, then we, the adults in their lives, need to understand that our job is not to eliminate every hardship, but to prepare them to face it. This episode is for every parent who's ever questioned whether they're doing enough, for every teacher who's watched a student break down over a small challenge and wondered how to build them back up, and for every human being who believes in the power of raising the next generation to be not just smart or successful, but strong. So let's dive into how we can raise resilient kids in a fragile world, not by shielding them, but by empowering them, not by making life easier, but by making them ready. Before we can raise resilient kids, we need to truly understand what resilience means. Resilience isn't about bouncing back to who you were before something happened. It's about growing through it and becoming something new. It's not just about surviving adversity, it's about using that adversity as fuel for growth. For children, resilience manifests in small moments when they try something new and fail, when they experience rejection or loss, or when they are challenged socially, emotionally, or academically. The way they respond to these moments determines their internal script. Do they believe they are capable of overcoming challenges, or do they internalize the idea that failure defines them? Here's the key. Resilience is a skill, not a trait. It's not something kids are born with or without. It can be taught, modeled, and strengthened over time. But just like a muscle, it requires stress and recovery. It requires effort. It requires space to struggle. One of the biggest misconceptions about resilience is that it means being unemotional or unaffected. In truth, resilient children often feel deeply. What sets them apart is their ability to regulate those emotions and continue forward. They may cry, they may get frustrated, but they don't stay stuck. So how do we build that in our children? First, we acknowledge that stress is not always harmful. In fact, some stress is essential for development. This is called positive stress. Things like learning to ride a bike, taking a test, navigating a disagreement with a friend. These experiences, though difficult in the moment, build coping mechanism and confidence. What becomes harmful is toxic stress, ongoing adversity without support. This is why relationships matter. Resilience isn't built in isolation, it's built in connection. When kids feel safe, seen, and supported, they are more likely to take healthy risks, to try again after failure, and to believe in their capacity to overcome. As adults, we need to reframe our role. We are not rescuers, we are coaches. We are not here to remove every obstacle, but to guide them through it. Our words matter. Phrases like that must have been hard. What do you think you'll do next? Are far more powerful than don't worry, I'll handle it. Let them wrestle with discomfort. Let them find solutions. Let them feel the reward of rising, not because we lifted them up, but because they did the work themselves. Even the most well-intentioned adults can accidentally undercut resilience. And let me be clear, this is not about blame, this is about awareness. Because once we see the patterns, we can change them. Let's start with the big one. Overprotection. The desire to protect is wired into us. It's what makes us human. But when protection turns into prevention, when we start removing every discomfort, shielding from every failure, we create kids who are emotionally brittle. Here is an example. A child forgets their homework. The natural consequences would be facing the teacher, accepting responsibility, and learning to be more organized. But what often happens, a parent rushes back to school to drop it off or emails the teacher to explain. In doing so, the child misses out on a key learning moment: accountability. Then there's the issue of praise. Praise can build confidence, but empty. Constant praise can do the opposite. Telling a child they're amazing or so smart at everything they do might feel empowering, but it sets them up to fear failure. Because if they believe their worth comes from being effortlessly excellent, then struggle becomes a threat to their identity. Instead, we should praise effort, persistence, and process. I notice how hard you worked on that. You didn't give up even when it was tough. These are the seeds of resilience. And in the classroom, teachers sometimes inadvertently reinforce helplessness. When we rush to give answers, over accommodate, or rescue students from every challenge, we send the message, I don't think you can do this on your own. But when we give them tools, time, and trust, we say, I believe in you. And let's talk about conflict. Many adults try to shield kids from conflict, whether it's sibling squabbles or playground disagreements, but conflict is not the enemy. Avoidance is. Children need to learn how to navigate relationships, how to disagree respectfully, how to apologize, how to forgive. These are core resilience skills. So, how do we break these habits? By becoming aware, by pausing before stepping in, by asking ourselves, is this moment an opportunity for growth? Because if we want to raise kids who can thrive in a fragile world, we need to stop trying to make the world softer and start making our kids stronger. Now that we understand what resilience is and what gets in its way, let's talk strategy, because this isn't about theory, it's about action. Let them take safe risks. Give kids opportunities to try, fail, and try again. Whether it's learning a new skill, speaking in public, or solving a tough problem, let them experience the challenge. Resist the urge to jump in too quickly. Model resilience. Kids learn more from what we do than what we say. Let them see you struggle. Let them hear you say, "This is hard, but I'm going to keep trying." Share your stories of setbacks and how you bounce back. Encourage problem solving. Instead of giving solutions, ask guiding questions. What do you think you could do? What's another way to handle this? This builds confidence and critical thinking. Normalize failure. Talk about failure openly. Celebrate effort. Share stories of famous failures. Let kids know that setbacks are part of every success story. Teach emotional regulation. Resilience isn't just mental, it's emotional. Teach kids to name their feelings, breathe through frustration, and use calming strategies. Emotional literacy is a foundation of resilience. Create a growth mindset culture. Use language that emphasizes growth, not yet, instead of can't. What did you learn instead of did you win? This helps kids see challenges as opportunities, not threats. Build connection and trust. Resilience grows in relationships. Make sure your child knows they are unconditionally loved, even when they fail. A strong bond with a parent or a teacher is a powerful buffer against stress. Give responsibility, chores, routine, tasks. These build independence. Let them own something. Let them contribute. Responsibility builds self-efficacy, which feeds resilience. These strategies aren't quick fixes. They are habits. They require patience, consistency, and trust. But the return, a child who believes in their own strength. Let me leave you with this. The goal isn't to raise kids who never fall. The goal is to raise kids who know how to rise, because the world they're growing into, it's uncertain. It will challenge them. It will test their values, their courage, their confidence. We won't always be there to hold their hand, but we can leave something behind that's even more powerful, the belief that they can hold themselves. Resilient kids become resilient adults. They become the leaders, the helper, the creators. They become the ones who don't run from hard things, but step into them with courage. And the journey starts with us. So next time your child is struggling, pause. Don't rush to fix. Don't panic. Don't shield. Look them in the eye and say, "I see you. I know this is hard, and I believe you can do it." That moment, that trust, that faith, that is how resilience is born. Thank you for listening to Classroom Nexus. If this episode's moved you, share it. If this episode moved you, share it with someone who needs it. A fellow parent, a teacher, a friend. Let's build a generation that's not afraid of falling because they know exactly how to rise.